Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Sparkle English, where I teach you how to improve your English skills. My name is Jennifer. Today I'm going to teach you 5 basic subject-verb agreement rules. So first of all, what is subject-verb agreement? Well, this is when the subject of a sentence and the verb of a sentence match in number. And they must match in number in order for a sentence to be grammatically correct. Let's quickly look at some examples. The woman is clever. Woman is a singular subject, and therefore it has a singular verb. However, if woman was plural, it would be women, and therefore we must also change the verb. The verb would be are, not is. The women are clever. Women is a plural subject, so we must have a plural verb. Here's another example. The man plays football. Man is singular, so plays is also a singular verb. Whereas the men play football. Here we have a plural subject, men, so we have a plural verb, play. So let's talk about 5 basic rules in more detail. We're going to begin with singular versus plural subjects. So rule number 1 is that a singular subject takes a singular verb and a plural subject takes a plural verb. So let's look at some sentence examples. The boy rides a bike. So boy is a singular subject, and therefore we have a singular verb, rides. However, if we make this plural, the boys ride bikes. And that's because we have a plural subject, so we must have a plural verb. The boy would be he rides a bike, whereas the boys would be they ride bikes. Let's look at another example. My teacher explains well versus my teachers explain well. The child laughs a lot. The children laugh a lot. Remember that while most plural nouns end in S, like boys, teachers, there are many exceptions. The plural form of child, for example, is children, or woman, women, man, men. So just watch out for any irregular plural nouns that don't end in S. But again, singular subjects take singular verbs, and plural subjects take plural verbs. So let's move on to our second rule. Rule number 2 is when 2 subjects are joined by and, the verb is plural. So let's look at some examples of compound subjects with and. My grandmother and grandfather live on a farm. So here we have 2 singular subjects that are joined by the coordinating conjunction and. So therefore, and is making this a plural subject because we're talking about both of them together. They live on a farm. Here's another example. Coffee and tea are available in the main office. So this compound subject, once again, requires a plural verb. Her laughter and positive energy light up the room. So when we have 2 subjects joined by the coordinating conjunction and, the verb is plural. You could not say my grandmother and grandfather lives on a farm. This and means we need a plural verb. Let's move on to rule number 3. So rule number 3, when subjects are joined by or nor, the verb must agree with the subject closest to it. Let's look at some examples. Potatoes or rice pairs well with fish. Pairs is a singular verb, and that's because the subject closest to it is singular. Rice is a singular, uncountable noun. And because it's singular, the verb must also be singular. Now, what happens if we switched rice and potatoes? Well, now we would change this to a plural verb. Rice or potatoes pair well with fish, and that's because the subject closest to the verb pair is plural. So when using or nor, the verb must agree with the subject closest to it. Let's look at some other examples. The manager or the employees are planning the meeting. Because employees is plural, the verb must be plural as well. Are planning, not is planning. Another example. Neither Jack nor Ben is in the mood to play football. Ben is singular, so the verb must also be singular. Let's move on to our next rule. Collective nouns. So rule number 4. A collective noun takes a singular verb when referring to the group as a whole. And sometimes it takes a plural verb, but only when emphasizing individual members. So let's look at some examples of collective nouns. The team is practicing for the big game tomorrow. Team is a collective noun. We're talking about one team, even though a team is made up of different members. This is a collective noun, however, it's singular. So we need a singular verb. The team is practicing. We're talking about the group as a whole. My family loves celebrating Christmas. Again, family is a collective noun, and in this sentence we're referring to the group as a whole, so it needs a singular verb. Another example. The bouquet of flowers looks beautiful. Now this example is a little trickier, and that's because we do have the word flowers, so you might be tempted to change this to a plural verb. However, the subject is not flowers. The subject is bouquet. We could remove of flowers. The bouquet looks beautiful. The bouquet of flowers looks beautiful. So remember, the subject must match the verb. This is just a little bit of extra information about the type of bouquet, but the bouquet is the subject. If we were talking about multiple bouquets, then we would change the verb to look. The bouquets look beautiful. So usually collective nouns will take singular verbs. However, on very rare occasions, it will take a plural verb. But again, it's only when you want to emphasize individual members of the group. For example, the jury are arguing about the verdict. So here the focus is on individual members of the jury having differing opinions or actions. So they are acting independently. However, this distinction is more common in British English. In American English, usually collective nouns are treated as singular. This sentence would likely be written as the jury is arguing about the verdict. So usually collective nouns take singular verbs, especially in American English. So now let's move on to rule number 5, indefinite pronouns. So some indefinite pronouns are always singular, such as everyone, each, nobody, while other indefinite pronouns can be plural, such as few, many, several. So let's compare some indefinite pronouns that are singular versus plural. Everyone is invited. Everyone is a singular indefinite pronoun, so it always requires a singular verb. Whereas a plural indefinite pronoun, like many, is plural. Many are invited. Someone has taken my pen. Again, someone is an indefinite pronoun that is singular, so it always requires a singular verb. Nobody wants to help me. So the most common singular indefinite pronouns, each, everyone, someone, anybody, nobody, everything, something, nothing. Here's another example of a plural indefinite pronoun, few. Few have finished the test. Another example would be several. Several have finished the test. So with the plural indefinite pronouns, we require a plural verb. Now, some indefinite pronouns depend on the context. So some pronouns can be singular or plural depending on the noun they refer to. Let's look at some examples. All of the cake is gone. Cake is singular, so we require a singular verb, is. Whereas all of the cookies are gone. Here, all is referring to cookies, which is plural, so we would require a plural verb. Here's another example. Some of the pie is left. Again, pie is singular, so the verb would also be singular. Whereas some of the students are from Italy. Here, some is referring to the noun students, which is plural, so we require a plural verb. So just pay attention to the context of the sentence. So now it's time for our quiz. There are 6 questions in total, and some of these sentences contain subject-verb agreement errors, so correct any errors that you identify. Let's begin. Number 1. My brother and sister is planning a surprise party. Number 2. The bouquet of flowers smell amazing in the room. Number 3. The hockey team is practicing every Friday. Number 4. The pasta and the pizza tastes delicious. Number 5. The boys are tired after a long day at school. And finally, number 6. Everyone is excited about the wedding. Okay, let's correct these together. Number 1 is incorrect. My brother and sister is planning. That should be are planning. Remember that subjects joined by the coordinating conjunction and create a compound subject. So this makes a plural subject requiring a plural verb. They are planning a surprise party. Number 2 is also incorrect. The bouquet of flowers smell. So smell is a plural verb, and you might think it should be smell because flowers is plural. However, what is the subject of this sentence? The subject is bouquet, and bouquet is singular. It's a singular collective noun. So the bouquet smells amazing. Singular subjects require singular verbs. Number 3, the hockey team is practicing every Friday. That is correct. Team is a collective noun, and with collective nouns, we use singular verbs. Now, number 4 is incorrect. So remember that when 2 subjects are joined by and, this makes a plural subject, so we need a plural verb. Number 5 is correct. The boys are tired. We have a plural subject, so we have a plural verb. And finally, everyone is excited about the wedding. This is also correct because this is a singular indefinite pronoun, everyone. And we always use singular verbs with singular indefinite pronouns. Okay, so let me know in the comments section how many you got correct out of 6. And if you want more advanced lessons on subject-verb agreement, make sure to check out my complete playlist where I cover everything related to subject-verb agreement in multiple lessons. Thank you for watching. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you next time.